Valentine's Day coming up, it might be nice to do some celebratory heart glasses for Valentine's Day. So I've been down to my local store and bought just some ordinary champagne flutes. These ones come in fours, they're pretty sturdy and they cost about £4, so just £1 each. So it's a fairly inexpensive way of designing something for yourself, maybe even giving them as a present to somebody. This, as you can tell, I've already started and we're going to work through the rest of it together. So first of all, it's your glass, and give that a good wash with some warm soapy water, or you can go over it with some nail polish remover. That will work as well, and then give it a little rinse under the tap. Okay, so what we've got here is something called Podge. You can buy this in your local craft store. I think you can buy it even in smaller bottles than this. It's a water-based sealer, glue and finish, and this one's called Gloss Luster, and it does dry clear. It's a really good product, and it's pretty much useful on all surfaces and is non-toxic. I wouldn't recommend doing this product with children because we're going to be using scissors and a craft knife as well. So this is an adult only craft really. So yeah, Mod Podge, you need a little bit of that. Some scissors. This is just masking tape that you might have around left over from decorating. Just happens to be blue for some reason. This is just a very small amount of glitter that I bought. It's a very deep, they call it holographic, I think, red. It's a nice red heart colour, and it gives a really good finish on the hearts. A small paintbrush, a craft knife. You may find you don't need the craft knife, you'll have to see how you go. I tend to use it for a little bit of shaping around the glass and the hearts. If there's a little bit you need to get off, then they're really handy, but you could use just an ordinary kitchen knife if you like. A pencil, and then a bit of card. Doesn't need to be all that big, it's just to cut your stencil out really for your heart. So let's get going. First off, just cut yourself a piece of the card. It doesn't need to be very big because we haven't got very big hearts that we're doing. Okay, and just take that little bit off there. Okay, so just like maybe you did at school, this is how I like to do stencils. So take your piece of paper, fold it in half, and then on the fold there you just draw half your heart. We're probably looking for something around that size. You can make them whatever size you like. That is probably around half a centimetre. Are we on inches on this side of the board? Yeah, this is an old cutting board that I used to use for sewing, and this is the inches side, so that's actually just beyond half an inch. Okay, but you can make them as big as you like really. So there you've got your heart, and go in with your scissors. Cut around your pencil line, going round the corner and then down the side of your heart, and then open up your heart. Okay. Now, as with any of these handmade techniques, we're not looking for anything perfect. So if it doesn't come out just so, I really wouldn't worry about it, because you can always shape it as you want it on the glass, because it's a little bit bendy once you've actually put the glitter on, and you can shape it. So cut the sides down a little bit, and then get yourself a piece of masking tape, and then just stick that on the end, because I never know where the end is when I put it back again. Pop your two sides of your masking tape on your stencil, one on one side and one on the other side, and then choose your place of where you'd like your heart to go on your glass. I try not to put them too close to the tops, because you don't really want people's lips on them. We're going to seal it with a gloss, but even so, I'd stay away from the edges. So randomly find yourself somewhere that you'd like to put your heart. I guess about down here would be a good one for me now, I think. There we go. Okay. So your heart is on your glass, and then your Mod Podge is just a white glue, and it's very easy to get off of paintbrushes because it's water based. Pop the Mod Podge over the top of the heart there. Have a look underneath on the other side of your glass, because you can often see where you might think on the front, oh, that looks pretty good, but you might find that you've not quite put enough glue, like me, in the corners or on the edges. Okay, so that's your Mod Podge. Get yourself a little bit of your glitter. Okay, pop that on. Okay, give it a little tap, just to make sure it goes into the glue nicely. Shake around and then tap it off. Okay, have a look underneath and you'll see some of the glue still shows through, but what you'll see is that this is the first one I did. This glue dries clear. Okay, so you're not going to have, this one's just still drying actually, and so is this one, but you can see from the first one that it's dried clear there. Okay, so not too bad. And then all you need to do here is to very carefully take off your stencil. Alright, and you can use that again actually, and what you've got here is your first heart. Alright, now you can see from the edges that you might have perhaps a tiny bit of a misshape on this side, and this is where, well, you could just use a stick actually and just kind of just move it in a little bit, and then what you'd need to do is just take a little bit of the Mod Podge and push it in towards the heart. Be very careful at this stage because it's obviously still quite wet. The rest of the glitter I wouldn't worry about too much, because as you progress and you finish the glass, not only will you find that these all go clear, but you can get the rest of the glitter off with just some nail polish remover and any little bits of Mod Podge that might have got on there. So you can see where we're building up on our Valentine's Day glass there with our hearts. I think it's going to look really nice when it's done. I'm going to continue with the rest of the hearts and I'll be back in a moment. Hi, I've just popped back to you because one thing that I was supposed to demonstrate in the first part was if you didn't want to use the stencil technique. I mean, my stencils have been going pretty well as I'm working through the glass, but there's one here, for example, that I made a mess of, and don't worry if you do that, because you know this stuff will come off before you seal it and put it on, and you can get the rest of that off with just some simple nail polish remover and clean the glass and then wash the glass. So seriously, don't worry if you do it wrong. Now what I'm going to do here is to show you a different format of making your hearts, and it's as simple as a cocktail stick. These are freeform, hand done, but they're very simple to do. So you just get your cocktail stick and you pop a little bit of your Mod Podge on, just like you would if it was paint really, and hold it downwards and let the Mod Podge start to come down the bottom of the stick. I probably haven't got enough on there actually. Let's go back to the pot. Okay, so start at the middle of your heart and then draw out and come round. Okay, and as I always say with things like this, it honestly doesn't matter if they're not perfect, because they're handmade, and things that are handmade are never perfect. So just draw half your heart and then start there for your other half of your heart, and then you can just fill it in. As you go in with your Mod Podge. This stuff is great. It really it's really very easy to work with. It's not all sticky and horrible. I think when I was at school we had something like this called copy decks or something, and you used to roll it up and it used to go into like a little rubber ball, and it never used to stick on you, which was quite good. And this is not unlike that. So what I would do then, you know, you've got your main shape, maybe bring it a little bit more in on that side. Totally happy with the shape on that side. But as you can see, it's a relatively simple process of just popping your Mod Podge on and doing a freeform heart. Pop your red on, give it a good old shake. A little bit of this away so you can see. Your heart shape underneath, and that is just another way of drawing these on if you're not into stencils. And then as you can see here, it's quite easy with the craft knife to round your heart off, and then as I say later on we'll just clear all these, all the spare glitter. So I just wanted to come back and show you another way of doing a freeform heart if you didn't want to use your stencils. Okay, so I shall be back shortly. Thank you. Hi, so here we are. I've just gone round with a little bit of a brush and got rid of most of the excess glitter off my hearts. What I've done with mine is that I've popped in just a couple of little white ones, as you can see. The glass isn't quite dry because you can still see the white of the glue, but that will dry out overnight and go clear. What I would end up doing with this glass now is going over it with just a bit of cotton wool and some nail polish remover to take off just the edges of the glue. Pop it in some warm water after you've done that to give it a nice wash, and I think that that personally looks like a great gift, or even for yourself to have a nice night on Valentine's Day with some love, really, from me to you. So enjoy. Every one of these is going to be totally different, and I know you'll love them for a long time to come.